Great weather here, and home to next level motivation. This is another spoken word poem entitled Limitations and Restrictions. Living within, or trying to live along the lines of limitations and restrictions, is not really living at all, as this is like a trip and a fall, but then never getting back up. For we have been in times of an opposite existence of how life was truly meant to be lived, embracing the unnatural into what gives a very false sense of reality, as I can see and have observed with every fiber of me that we, and can we, truly say with real uncertainty that we are free? Are we living as sovereigns? And through our naturally created lives that were always meant to roam this world and live freely without limits, political rhetoric and gimmicks, without any walls or borders, passports or orders, laws and restrictions that go against all that is natural, and being reduced to animals that live in a caged existence but calling this living, when our inner selves at our core seeks and naturally wants and needs more, to simply run wild and roam free, as the horse that runs that plain and happy to just be moving about, along with really taking in the natural environment that surrounds us all. For this poem here is not meant to be sad, but rather glad to indicate what we must do. And that is getting back to the basics that we felt and lived in at the age of 2, as the entire world just seemed like a big playground to have fun with and enjoy without a care at all, and living life without pause, and living life beyond stucco and sheetrock walls. For we are natural beings that must be in tune and balanced with the natural world around us. But we have gotten so far away from this, traded and made an exchange for the superficial and the materialistic, and replaced this in lieu of the minimalistic and nomadic lives that those before us and earlier civilizations had, as the vast majority of modernity has greatly suppressed us all, diminished us to a crawl, yet convinced us and programmed us that this instead is real life, when in fact it has failed us. For we must trust and really return to being the more natural versions of us, because being in this opposite way has gone on for far too long, and I, for one, have had enough of being so out of sync and so out of touch, as all of this and more has just become too much. And as such, we must return to the more humane and natural and very basic versions of us, as we then will begin to feel ourselves come back into real focus, along with our true purpose, instead of abiding and grazing in a 3-ring circus, and calling ourselves having a life when we feel within that something has been sorely missing, and trying to piece it together as we storm the weather and living among too much division instead of together, as we need true freedom naturally, and with this word beginning with a capital letter, for only then could we truly become better, not just as people but also as a society, and one that also accepts natural variety of all kinds, for as sure as the sun shines, and looking with more than just our open or closed eyes, seek to rewind and return to living our true natural lives. Because living alternatively within, or trying to exist with true purpose among and along the lines of limitations and restrictions, is not living at all, as this is like living but never feeling alive. So look within and rise to the natural occasion, and hope that my words took very little persuasion of conveying the very matrix that derived and has thrived with us, and has survived and has been very unkind, along with affecting every angle, stage, and facet of our lives, as our natural freedom and liberty has become the enemy instead of the standard and norm. For what we have right here is severely problematic, erratic, and of epic proportion, unsettling background noise and distortion, as I could go on and on here, but I believe that the point has been made clear. and time to separate and detach ourselves far away from here and underneath such harsh conditions, for we can't ever truly be free or alive while living and residing within limitations and restrictions. This is Cray Weather.